Okay. Um, I realize it's been like a week since I've been on the tube, and we don't love it being that long. So I'm here taking my earplugs out. Wow. And just chatting with myself, which is why I like this channel situation. I should look at myself some more. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna massage my eyebrows. I was gonna do a little mobility this morning. I still have a cat. She's wonderful. Um, Misty Boo. Yeah, straight in the eye. She's got the prettiest eyes, is what everyone says, and she actually does have the prettiest eyes. You want to come over here? She's sniffing. She just like cracked out on catnip because she found it on the counter. But yesterday I had a bunch of sugar for the first time in like 3 months, I'd say. Easily 3 months. And I was genuinely concerned that I would feel like crap today because it's kind of what happened in December. But then I remembered something. I'm not going to get it right, but basically, in the human cells, like your muscle cells, for example, there are little gates. And when you do things like what I was doing for most of my life, which is like nicotining myself into productivity and then using THC to like dull the pain or deal with, overexertion. Because in human design, as some of you have heard, I'm a projector, and that means that we're like not built to work. Like we don't have sustainable energy. Um, we can do sprints, and so I just cleaned out my apartment on Sunday by working from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. just like with the help of some really coordinated and organized friends. But Monday and Tuesday, I did literally nothing. I did literally nothing, and I fasted actually on Monday because I had eaten so much throughout the day on Sunday that was like bags of chips, Chinese food, takeout from Sweet Green, which was spicy, which I haven't eaten anything really spicy in a while. And I'm still looking at my cat. And my body wasn't happy, but my body wasn't upset either because I had like spent the whole day like burning those calories in most of the ways. But I think Monday was like a cleanup job. Like I really didn't want to put a lot of stuff in my body, but I did go outside and put my bare feet on the grass while doing a qigong flow. um, this was something I read about, and maybe I could have titled the video this, but I read about pranic living. And it's 100% because I remembered something called breatharianism existed because it was mentioned on a video I was watching about Mount Shasta, because I wanted to be able to do this big road trip without having to stop and cook and chew for 3 hours out of the day, because I've been eating what I've been saying are like living food meals where pretty much everything that I'm cooking could still grow if I had let it grow. Like, potatoes sprout, carrots can sprout, eggs, well, if they're fertilized, they could hatch, but they're not fertilized most of the time in the US. Although I wonder if they ever make a mistake on that. I guess they wouldn't because they wouldn't let the rooster anywhere near the hen houses. That's why they kill male chicks. Anyhow, yeah, clearly I'm not yet a ethical vegan. I eat what feels right in my body. And yesterday that was sugar. It was like 3 cookies and like 2 packets of like raspberry like fig bars, with like a big cup of macadamia milk. And yeah, like there's some parts of my old injury and neck that are still a little bit stiff. Like I don't know if I want to do that again tonight, but I feel like something about those little cellular gates have mended because my body is trusting that I am going to take care of it in the way that it was, I suppose, designed, intended. I don't know who intended it, who designed it, but I mean, the way that it was made was not to grind my face off, even though I can outwork every other human design type for very short periods of time. And I used to use that without knowing how my energy worked. I basically like crashed and burned so often because I would work like a generator. I would just keep plowing through and expecting myself to perform at that exceedingly high level. And now I understand more about how other people like have designed their lives, because most, like, what, 70% of the world are generators is what I've heard, including like my wife, who can like go to work the last 2 days in construction and still like perform even though she's tired. Whereas I was sitting here going, I need to learn how to just watch PBS because it's like the only streaming thing I currently have access through my wife, because we donated because we wanted one program about like global spirituality, of course. Um, and I was like sitting there being like, just lay here, don't do anything, just lay here, just lay here and listen to the program. You don't need to do anything, just lay here. Like I napped like big on Monday, like 3 hours, but I wasn't really sleepy enough to nap yesterday. Um, Maybe I could have if I wasn't watching something. Because I remember watching it like this, like, um, but right now I was thinking I wanted to do a mobility flow because when I have a little bit of that, I don't know if you'd call it tension or potential old injury flare up or, whatever the inflammation of a sugar could be aggravating. When I have great posture, which sitting on a couch, I never have great posture. I sat here because the light's good and all that fun stuff. But when I'm on an airplane, for example, I can't sleep. Or knock on something, one day I'd like to sleep, but historically I have not slept on flights. And I'm talking like, Misty, maybe you could get off of the massage chair, at least keep your claws retracted. Thank you. Um, and I don't sleep for a 14-hour international flight. I'm literally sitting up like perfectly, spine stacked on each thing, and I'm just breathing. That's literally, I'm just breathing. And that is actually restful. And when I was looking into this pranic living stuff, I'm going to be jumping around a little bit. It talked a lot about how morning sun and sunset, like letting that hit your whole body, is really important to energizing your like you're feeding your body sunlight. And I am such a sun baby that resonates so hard. When I was in Bali, I didn't need to eat as often or on schedule. I just ate when something sounded good when I stopped somewhere, right, for the most part. Because it's also warm there and you don't feel like you're going to freeze to death if you don't eat right away, because the warmth is also a form of energy that your body absorbs 100%. That's not weird. That's just thermodynamics. Um, and talking about how movement, especially gentle movement, energizes the body, and then restfulness. And I think that's where this comes in, where I used to spend so much of my young adult life like working at a computer in a way that the body is not aligned to flow its energy channels through that way. I wonder if people will evolve over time, right? Where the spinal channel, like, I mean, maybe people who have scoliosis, like maybe in a weird way I mean, I used to actually have it. That's funny. I forgot about that. It's resolved on the lower part. There's still a little bit of twisting on the upper part as of a few years ago. I haven't x-rayed it yet in the last couple years. But I bet that that's getting better as I'm not carrying my camera so much, because your body adapts to what you ask it to do. And I've asked it to carry a really heavy camera on the right side of my body for quite a while. And I'm kind of done doing that. So I think I'm done for now. I don't have a thing in particular I want to talk about. I just want to make sure I was still in the habit. Um, and not a compulsive habit, but a conscious habit of putting something up on YouTube that's just what I'm thinking about without having a purpose. I remember reading about half of my morning pages in the last couple days, from November to December, and realizing that I was playing around with this idea of being purposeless because so much of Western culture says you need to have a purpose, you need to play a role, you must, be productive, for lack of a better term. And I feel like I've read this a few times where a lot of indigenous cultures don't subscribe to that. They just kind of go, you do what you need to do, you know, and then you kind of just be yourself. Like you just be like whatever being yourself is, before all these forms of expression was you just could like sit at the stream and watch animals and not do anything else and just be. And in a way, I guess that's what I'm looking forward to in a maybe about a week. Funny me, I thought I would be leaving like now if I had gotten the truck packed. But I'm gonna go nice and slow. I'm on my period. I'm so glad I didn't like go and go ham and go nuts and try to get out of here this week. It just snowed a little bit again today. So yeah, there is no need to go nuts. I was thinking about trying my second Pilates class, but now that I say snow out loud, I'm like, wait a minute. I could do a quick run over at the cross country ski spot, couldn't we? Couldn't that be fun? We'll see. I haven't eaten breakfast yet, and it's 10 a.m. But I think that's because I had a bunch of sugar last night. Like I'm not hungry. And actually not being hungry after having a bunch of sugar, I think is a great sign because that means whatever's in my microbiome, whatever gut bugs I have right now, are not the kind that are cracked out on short term calories. So that is some good news. If you've ever been hangry regularly, the truth is your gut bugs are off. They are used to eating your sugary treats, your carbs, your refined carbs, your baked goods, and when you're cranky, or you eat a lot of meat. I used to eat a lot of meat. And if you think about it, when the bacteria that break down meat don't have any more meat to break down in your gut because you're not feeding it right away, what is the next most meaty thing they could eat? It's you. It's you. So I just thought I would share that because I'm not hating on meat. Like I still eat chicken, I still eat fish, but my life got so much better. I mean, it took a few tries. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because of those gut bugs. But my life got immeasurably better after I quit red meat. And now it's like I don't. There are a couple times in my journal in like November and December, like a month and 2 through 3 months after I'd quit it, where I was like, getting this craving, maybe I need it. And after I'd eat it, I just feel way less better. And it's like when you're used to feeling like shit, which honestly most people are, um, feeling just a little shittier doesn't you don't register it. But when you're feeling like you're running on clean fuel, actually, the Koreans believe in like based on your blood type, you're you're more or less tolerant of certain things like meat. And I'm an A positive, like A plus plus. Um, It's funny because I couldn't remember my blood type for a while, but I'm like, I was an A student, like, the kind that listens to all the instructions and follows the rules for the most part, even though on the inside it was just like, I hate this. Um, uh, but A positives were supposed to be like vegetarian. And so I don't remember which one is like you're okay eating some meat. It's not as bad for you. Um, but also the World Health Organization has categorized red meat as carcinogenic, but here in the US we don't think that's a big deal. And right now my ears are inside my skull is popping, and this is a sensation that I've been getting when I say things that are absolutely true. And like it's funny because some of these signals that the body gives, like tinnitus, I used to think that something was wrong with me, and now if I get it, I'll get it really, really quick for, like, 10 seconds, and I'll go, "Oh, okay, cool, that's what that means," and then it'll go away. But it's like, if you don't know how to pay attention to a bodily sign, it'll come back, it'll come back, it'll come back, it'll come back because your body's trying to communicate with you. It's really trying to help you understand the universe and nature and the signals that it uses to communicate with you. Like, it doesn't have words. It has feelings, it has sensations, and it has symptoms that a lot of Western medicine has just learned to categorize as a disorder, and it is kind of out of, like, a order, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that you should medicate it away because we medicate one symptom, another one arises, and we medicate that one, and then we medicate that one, and it's like, we gotta stop doing that, y'all. We gotta stop doing that. Well, thanks for listening.